But dragons with lips would be a weird thing.
We can stop.
They
now.
would be. They would be a weird thing.
Well,
Because, like, where's the
lips?
muscle coming?
Well, they still have muscle,
Right?
like under the scales.
Because they're not like big snappy chompers. They'd be actual lips. Anyway, hello everyone. How are we all doing?
I thought I was ready for that one, and actually you've taken me by surprise again.
You all good? Hello.
I'm thinking about kissing a dragon.
Yeah. Dragon snogging.
Dragon's Snogging. Yeah, so this is what we talk about before we start recording.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm DM Dan. We're the Explorers of Elsewhere. We're not deviants, we promise. This is my
That's a
group.
lie.
Yourself?
Yeah.
That's a GD lie.
Hello, thank you for coming and playing, and thank you for sitting, presumably, and watching.
Oh, they've already left, Dan. We've lost them.
They've already left. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
We might have a new crowd now with the
And besides,
A lot of fan
you're-
art incoming.
Probably more
and you're a
lucrative.
Deliveroo driver. You might be sitting in a restaurant waiting to get your order.
True. This is very, very true. Very, very true. So, last episode, there was a lot of loud noises.
Lots of dragon lips.
Noises. Yeah, lots of loud noises, despite the lack of dragon lips. I should correct you. But yeah, there's been a bit of a shake-up. Who would like to jump back in and find out what the fallout of said loud noises was?
Me, please.
The
Yeah,
fallout.
why not?
London.
The world has been broken and remade. Our civilizations are shattered, our people divided. Yet there are those who would rise up to challenge the encroaching darkness.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Sir Carmichael Comstock, a Lorivar Cavalier Fighter.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Addy, a Keeper Druid Bard.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Victor, a Lorivar Gloomstalker Ranger.
Hi, my name's Lane. I'm playing Millija Sayralast, an Asavar Divine Soul Sorcerer.
My name's Tim, and I'm playing Galena, the Terran Sprite Alchemist Artificer.
And my name is Dan. I will be the Dungeon Master on this adventure. Whilst our world has been changed, we band together. Hope bright in our hearts. We push forward to reclaim what was once ours, and we shall be known as the Explorers of Elsewhere.
A chosen family is one that, as the name might suggest, we choose to surround ourselves with. Being able to identify who to let in, a tight-knit chosen family becomes a circle of love, understanding, and commitment. There are many circumstances in which we find ourselves creating such bonds. Brothers and sisters in arms, a formidable religious convent, or even, perhaps, a band of explorers discovering a new world. Some would question whether the bonds of choice are stronger than the bonds of blood relation. Some would do anything in order to protect their blood relatives, acts which, from the outside, look ill thought out or extreme. In comparison to chosen family, these actions can be textured with a sense of duty or necessity. But the question stands. Does one sense of family trump the other? Which prevails in the contest between circumstance and choice? Does either excuse what we do in the name of family? And so, Millija, we find you tossing and turning in a fitful sleep. And with a jolt, you sit bolt upright in your bed in the middle of the night, drenched in a cold sweat. Fleeting memories of the creatures that you now know to be called Tamari vivid in your mind. And as you look around, your eyes adjusting as quickly as they can to the amount of moonlight pouring in through various kind of windows and holes in the tent that you're in. It would seem that you're alone.
I'm ignoring the voice.
That was a dramatic turn of events, wasn't it, Millija?
Yes, it was.
How well you thwarted their efforts. How well you kept yourself safe until your friends could arrive. You're practically invincible, aren't you, Millija?
No.
No?
No, I never was.
Well,
And I'm still not.
it's good that you see sense, Millija. What do you think happens the next time they come?
I'll be stronger then.
And how do you propose you'll do that?
I don't need to hand you the keys for you to get stronger. I can do this by myself. I was chosen for a reason.
I'm not asking for the keys, Millija. I'm just asking for your permission
No.
to help you. Why must it just be you that gets stronger when we can become stronger together?
Wait,
What happens next time they come and your friends aren't there to save you? What happens when next time they come and they know how to inflict every type of imaginable pain upon you?
Then it's better it goes to me than any of the other people.
Why you? Why not us?
Just get out of my head.
I'll let you sleep on it.
I need to get these documents to Comstock. I'm not sleeping. I shouldn't have slept.
As you say that and kind of clench your eyes, and as you open them, you look around and what appears to be the dawn, the light of dawn, beginning to roll through.
Oh,
And
no.
as you frown a bit and look around, thinking that it felt like deep night, but a few moments ago. Yeah, you can start to hear the sounds of New Prosper beginning to stir for a new day.
No. And I'm not even going to bother to get properly dressed. I'm going to go out in my pajamas with the documents to find Comstock.
What kind of pajamas? Is it like unicorns? Like is it onesie, a unicorn onesie?
Kind of like a sea green, phthalo green.
Okay.
Very sort of frumpy, nothing extravagant whatsoever.
So, as you kind of hurry out, sure enough, there's a lot of kind of commotion as you can see sort of like the guards wandering around and they're kind of instructing people to begin heading to the town hall. As you kind of follow the crowds, the rest of you, where do we find Galena?
Oh, what do you reckon? What's going on in town? Is there been have we been called together yet, or is it just my normal daily routine?
Well, I suspect. Well, so the guards have been going from sort of like tent to tent, summoning the townsfolk for a town, like a meeting outside the impromptu kind of watchtower town hall type building.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll wander in. I'm a little morning drunk, I think.
Sure.
A little.
And Addy?
Addy and Horse the Bear would have been emerging from the forest after completing some very, very early morning
foraging, so she'll have her arms laden with bushels of like forest mushrooms and berries and wild carrots and all sorts of stuff. And Horse will no doubt be snaffling away at the bits that drop out of the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta make sure we're tidy, if nothing else. And Comstock, where do we find you?
I imagine Comstock's currently just sort of talking with Draven, trying to sort of school him on speaking.
Sure. And Victor, where do we find you?
I think Victor has been having a long night. He's still been out in the forest looking for tracks, trying to convince. They're not Murlocs. What are they, Dan?
Croaks.
Trying to convince the Croaks to join his cause, and
Sure.
basically just running around like a lunatic.
Okay, so in which case, if you're coming up from the beach, Addie's coming from the forest. Millija's running up from her tent. We find you all. It's like Millija, you arrive to see everyone kind of gathered round. Comstock and Davin are stood kind of in the center, just outside the doors of the town hall, and there's a hubbub and a commotion amongst the gathered crowd. So you can hear people kind of asking what this is all about, and sort of like there's looks of concern and wild speculation rampant across people's faces.
I'm not going to help with the wild speculation by running up to the two of them. I need to talk to you two right now.
Yes, of course. Just remember, Draven, you need to project.
Both of you, you both need to see this right now.
Of course. Shall we into the town hall?
Sure.
Okay. So, as the three of you head in, like Millija, as you kind of glance over your shoulders, you see seeing Millija rush in, say something privately to Comstock and Davin. Addie, what's going through your mind? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna head over to Galena and point over. And do you know what that's all about? Then
I reckon let's find out.
yeah,
You
and
go-
we're gonna go and sort of.
Gonna go in?
Yeah, when have you respected people's personal space before? Let's go.
Okay. So
Should we do this? Do you think we should do this sneaky or just walk in?
No, it's too early for sneaking. Let's go.
Okay.
Off we go.
So the two of you just barge in. Victor, you see from as you're on your approach, you see Millija kind of bustle Comstock into the town hall. You then see like Addie and Galena, and then just wander in, like scurrying after them. What do you do?
Victor will just follow.
Are you going in as well? Okay, cool. So the rest of you kind of pile in, and Millija, you watch as like the door opens. You see Galena like silhouetted by Addie, just as Addie ducks in, and then Victor just morning. And it would seem that your your private meeting is somewhat less private now.
I've got some mushrooms to fry up for breakfast, and I think we've still got some eggs around here somewhere.
I'm not.
I've already had mushrooms this morning. Don't worry.
Victor, what? Do you smell it sick?
I'm sorry, what? Oh, so yes, I do not have time to clean yet. Long story.
It's good to let them get it out their system, Millija, before we carry on. Otherwise, they'll just keep interrupting.
We absolutely will.
Not this time. And I'm gonna bring out the documents and lay them out on a table in front of me.
Oh, what's that? Says Davin.
Care to explain, Millija?
There's not going to be enough time to read them.
Is it more poetry?
No, there's not going to be enough time to read them right now. But this is basically evidence that Atrak is possibly one of the worst peoples that you've ever met, and Haladradis was right.
Oh, don't say Haladradis was right.
Don't.
Okay.
What do you mean? Where'd you find these?
In her tent.
Oh,
Oh, you were in Haladradis.
Again, don't worry about it, Ravin.
Oh, okay.
good for you, Millija. And I pat
no,
you.
I didn't know you were that close.
I'm not. No, it wasn't.
Don't worry about it.
No, it's
Go
not
on.
that. It's not that. And also, the source of the rot that's making all the food rot is something in Haladradis' tent, I think. Because when I took a little, small gift over there that she gave me before, it immediately rotted and spoiled.
I have to say there's an odd juxtaposition between you saying Haladradis was right and then in the second sentence saying that, almost proving that she's the reason why we've been struggling with food.
And why do you think I needed to bring this silently?
Okay, let's start from the beginning. What do these documents say? I assume you've read them, even if we don't have time to ourselves.
A flicker over them at best. It's
So to recap, yeah, the documents are fundamentally, it's almost like a diary entries of sorts. Effectively, it's Haladradis' diary, which also contains notes on what appear to be communications between Haladradis and others. Millija, you've discovered that at least one of these others is a high flyer in one of the colleges of magic. So we're talking the most powerful spellcasters in the realms, kind of thing. And yeah, Haladradis appears to be in communications with them. The notes insinuate that an ulterior motive for this particular expedition was to track down the individual known as Atrak, to bring him to justice for his crimes, his war crimes during the in the run up to the eschaton, and during the eschaton. And it would seem that Haladradis had a very, very personal stake in it all.
Before Haladradis left, she did state that her sister had been taken by Atrak. It was also nice to put a name to the face of something that we never really dealt with in Hugolstadt. We'd already heard of a great general, but by the time he was making his way down to Hugolstadt, the army had broken, the eschaton had happened. But we knew there was someone leading them that was terrible. He never made it as far as Hugolstadt, but he was definitely on his way.
Are you saying, Comstock, that Atrak was on the other side of the war, against you?
Yes.
That's what these papers say. Yes. He worked for the Forsaken Dragons.
Yeah. Within the notes, you find speculation that Atrak is actually is a highly ranked Khan worshipper.
You gave him a nickname, didn't you? I think last week. I can't remember what the nickname was. It's just like the butcher or something, or
yes.
Yeah.
Butcher
I imagine that's all Comstock knew the general as, but now he has a name to the butcher.
Sure.
So, Comstock, why then is Skala, your former commander, working for Atrak?
Because I don't believe that is Carla. I've had my doubts, and her time with me has only strengthened them. I don't believe it is her. It's someone who definitely knows a lot about her and understands her, but the sudden desire not to reveal her face, the permanency of the male, I feel she's hiding something, or they are hiding something, their identity being the key part there.
Good point. Very astute.
Could be. People can change a great deal, though.
Carl always believed in Hugerstadt. I know what happened to all of us broke her slightly, but I can't imagine it would break her to the point she'd join the other side. She never agreed with Hugerstadt's decision on the granting of the knighthoods and what they meant. I know even towards the end, she felt me foolish, but I don't believe this is the Carla I knew.
I don't know what to make of this. It all seems so... I don't feel like we've got the full story either way. I mean, these documents, I mean, sure, okay, they point Atrak in a bad light, and I'm not saying that he is a good person, because, you know, at the end of the day, we only met him once, and just because he helped us doesn't make him good. But these notes are from the perspective of Haladradis. And Haladradis...
Not
Pardon?
just her. Not just her, others.
Others?
Well, so whilst it's, you know, her writing down, there are kind of notes of conversations where the communication she's been having with clearly like other high-ranking wizards insinuate that they are in agreement of sending Haladradis to find Atrak.
On the one thing I'll agree is, Atrak seems to now be our enemy. I want to make it clear, Millija, that I understand where Haladradis is coming from. Her intent is noble, but what she has done is ill. She's doomed us all for her own personal vendetta. Listen to all those people out there. They matter, but they mean little to her. I will help her where I can.
And she stole my rock.
She stole Galena's rock. Wait, she stole your rock?
Yeah, me talking stone.
Oh,
Big tit.
yes. I believe she believes it's her communication to Atrak, but we can't start thinking that Haladradis is good in this. She has noble intent, but has done it in a dark way.
Agreed. So, what are we to do now? Maybe figure out the source of this rot.
That will be
Sounds
good.
like a good plan to me.
While this is all happening, like Victor, as you kind of run around and say that, as you're kind of glancing around the room to get check for everyone's approval, you notice that Davin is just kind of sat in the corner, and like etched onto his face is a look of kind of bewilderment, confusion, and he's just kind of like blinking quickly and just kind of looking off into the middle distance, and like there's a point where he turns and looks up to you, and he's looking at you as if you've just grown a third eye, and he's just utterly perplexed. But Haladradis is... She wasn't here for the village, for the town.
Even if she wasn't, the town has been set up now. And no matter what happens, we can take over and turn this into something better than it was ever meant to be.
I agree with that.
Ram.
Draven, do not.
You spent more time with that woman than any of us did. Was there anything she said, anything she did that you think is important that we should know?
I mean, she told me that the reason that she was coming along was because she trusted me, and that she believed in what I could do, and that she had faith in my family name. But was that a lie?
The truth of the matter is we believe that she manipulated events so that we settled here at this point. There is something here in the town that she wants. There is something in this place that this person at Track wants. I can't blame you for most likely the fish. No, one thing at a time. One thing at a time, there, Victor. She was charismatic, Draven. I don't blame you for being sucked up in her charm But we were all manipulated into founding this town here, this place. And if she is responsible for our food rotting, it only further proves that she needed us to be here. And the point is, as Millija's made, we need to protect here. The people have settled at this point. This is our home. And we will make it something great. But first we need to make sure it survives.
Millija, you spoke of an artifact. Where is it?
Did I?
That was causing the food to rot.
It was dark. I looked and I couldn't find anything. But I found the documents and I thought that was more important for now.
Well, if you think that there's something in the tent, then you should all go. You should go look at it. I hope she won't mind.
Draven, you or me will address the town. The rest of you deal with the tent while I keep the town and try to inspire them. We need them ready, but we need to make sure they don't realize what has happened, if it is indeed Halajardis.
I've certainly got a way of getting into that tent without anyone noticing.
Nice.
I believe it was you who told me she turned into a spider in front of your very eyes.
I was trying to forget that.
Like Millija's now 1,000-yard stare, just images of that spider just burn in her mind.
So, with this in mind, are the four... So, Victor, Galena, Addy, Millija, are you heading back to Halajardis' tent? And Comstock, you're going to address the crowd?
I think some of us need to go to that meeting, because if we're all absent apart from Comstock, that's going to look really suspicious. We could probably explain away one or two people being away.
Victor
well, we can just go. I mean,
yeah, I think most people don't usually expect Victor to be around.
That's true.
That's true, actually.
I should
definitely.
Victor is there.
Yeah. To be honest.
Well, maybe you should go with them, Addy. I think I should check the tent, because if there's something magical going on, then it's worth me taking some of my equipment, seeing what I can find.
Go with Millija then.
Where am I going?
To the tent.
Tell me what happened.
You'll be able to see when you get there.
All right. Well, either way, pop by your tent and grab a shirt or something.
It's fine. It's not like I've got my breasts out or anything.
Because of bristles like...
Okay. So, who's going to Halajardis' tent? Final consensus.
Looks like I am.
Okay. So, Millija.
I'm going tentwards.
And Galena and... Is that?
I guess I'll go to the meeting.
Okay. In which case, so the four of you that are staying, the three of you that are staying behind with Davin, as you step out, like there's the wave of concerned murmuring is noticeably like higher and louder, and you see sort of like people kind of and pointing at you like discreetly as the four of you come out, and sort of like as Davin walks into the middle of the gathered crowd with you, Comstock.
As they leave the building, Comstock puts his hand on Davin's shoulder and is like, I know you may feel that no one has ever really believed in you, Davin, but you've got this. Address the crowd. You're better than you are. You led us to this point. You've led us to this town. Now lead this town.
What am I saying?
All you need to do is talk. it will come to you. Everything important I will tell them, but you just need to make sure they are aware of who you are. You lead this town.
Okay.
I wish I could cast like heroism on him, but I don't have that ability. I'm just like,
Well, so Davin looks at you, Comstock, and he looks over his shoulder at Addy and Victor with pleading eyes.
no, I'm not casting anything on you. You can do this. Push.
I can cast Hunter's Mark on him.
I won't say anything, but as he steps forward into the crowd, I'll just silently place a hand on his shoulder and cast heroism.
Oh. But I think Bardic might be better, like in this sort of like.
Alright.
Both?
I can
Could
do
do.
I can do bardic inspiration.
Both is good.
Okay.
He's gonna need all the help he needs.
Okay, so Davin turns and like looks at the crowd, and like Comstock, you watch him almost visibly shrink as like the crowd are just like staring at him intently, waiting for what he's kind of woken them up earlier than normal for to say. And he sort of looks around and and he looks to you, Comstock.
Yeah, he looks at him, he gives him a nod, and just again, quite under his breath, is believe in yourself.
Okay.
Like they believe in you.
Comstock, give me a charisma check. Perception check. No. Persuasion
A
check.
persuasion check. That I can do, because
to
my
aid
charisma's
Davin.
been restored after those hideous things. 19.
Nice.
So Davin kind of looks to you as you give him a bit of reassurance, and he, okay, and you see him like noticeably kind of stand up straight and his shoulders go back. He looks over his shoulder to you, Addy, and sort of like he looking at you, he suddenly seems a bit more confident, and then like he looks over to you, Victor, and gives you a thumbs up. Bardic Inspiration is a D6 for you, Addy.
Yes.
Okay. So with advantage.
Woo! Yeah! Davin!
Oh, Davin!
Gavin!
Like, we know who's now going to be riding on the back of the gold statue of Mr. Dribbles. It's Davin.
This is going to be a Braveheart moment, isn't it? You know.
Great, because I'm the one who's got the voice here.
Yeah.
But just again, all he needs to do is get the town warmed up and hand it to Comstock. You know, he's just a hype man right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming this morning. It really means a lot to me that you've all gathered here at such an early hour of the morning. I truly appreciate it. As you may well know, we have traveled far and wide since we left Varos to find ourselves here in one of the first founded towns that Elsewhere has seen in the aftermath of the eschaton. You are all on the forefront of history.
Yeah.
You will be the ones that you will be at the forefront. You will be the forerunners of the rediscovery of Elsewhere. Not even the wars between dragon gods can stop us from living our lives as we see fit. And it's on your shoulders that we are able to do this. There are those among us who we might not know.
Me?
But I would take the opportunity to label each and every one of you a friend. You have all put yourselves in peril and jeopardy willingly to be here, and again, for that, I am thankful. There will always be growing pains in times like these, but I ask that we simply band together and make sure that we weather this storm together. Brave souls such as Sir Carmichael Comstock here will guide us, but each and every one of you are just every bit as brave as this fine knight stood at my side.
Comstock's fighting back a tear, like.
You may have heard rumors of disruption and dissent within the camp. I'm here to assure you that if that is the case, we will resolve them together. No voice in New Prosper goes unheard. We live together, we struggle together, we thrive together. On the honor of House Dram, I pledge this to all of you. For in my eyes, you are all heroes. And, like, there's a moment of silence, and you see Davin, like, tense up a little bit.
Comstock just starts tapping his breastplate, like.
And before long, the crowd erupts into a rapturous applause off the back of
Here,
Davin's
Davin!
Nat 20.
Davin! Davin for president! Yes!
Okay. And Davin kind of looks around, and he's visibly shocked that people are kind of reacting to him in such a way. And he sort of like, in a bit of a stupor, he looks at you and goes, Did I just do that?
Comstock puts his hand, okay, stops tapping, just puts it and bows slightly to him. It's like, you did indeed. You are a fine leader.
Yes.
Oh. And like a smile, like a dumb shock smile spreads across Davin's face as he, like, caught up in it all, just, yay, yay, starts applauding seemingly for himself as well. And now I pass you to Comstock, he says, and it's all like with a little head bubble. And then Comstock, as you realise, oh god, you've got to follow that now. We'll switch to Galena and Millija as you hear this kind of boom of applause behind you. You make it to Haladradis' tent.
You reckon he fell over or something?
Either that or that was the banging of swords.
Well, either way, maybe if we stay away from it for now. So, what happened here?
Exactly what I said. I came in to leave a nice note and a gift, and the bottle immediately just rotted. It was fine in my tent, and I just point like 5 feet to the right.
Okay, so with me I have a
Geiger
large number
counter.
a lot of crystal samples,
Yes.
and a bag of apples. Has the bag of apples as yet changed at all?
How long have you had these apples?
So I mean, I guess all of the food that we have is pretty fresh overall, because it all just obliterates otherwise. So they probably were just like starting to look a little bruised. So I've had them for, I don't know, like an hour or something probably.
Okay.
So they were pretty fresh.
So you, as you get out one of the apples and then place it on a table, like, Amelia, how are you feeling about? Like, obviously you've seen it, but now, Galena. Galena, are you normalized to this hand yet?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
but I'm a little drunk, so it's okay.
Sure. In which case, yeah, you see Galena kind of grab her chin and then notice because her hand's glowing slightly. You watch as nothing happens.
Huh?
And then you watch the apple mulch and shrivel.
Oh.
Far quicker than you, like, to a much greater extent than you've seen any of the other kind of putrefaction you've seen, to the point where the sides of it, as the apple shrinks and the skin splits, like mulched content dribbles out like an ooze, like a pus across the table.
You reckon that's happening to our insides?
No. I think we're fine.
Yeah, seems fine. I'd like to set up a matrix of pieces of crystal, even in like a grid throughout the tent, and see if any of them seem to be reacting to like a source of magic or anything like glittering or whatever. I'll probably put in some of the magic draining crystals as well, see if I get a reaction from anything in the tent.
Okay. As you begin kind of laying out crystals at like chunks of crystal, uniform distances. Amelia, as you kind of watch Galena begin to methodically do this, you start to feel this really intense nausea beginning to wash over you. Like the longer you look at that mulched apple and how quickly it rotted, you just start to feel this kind of wave, this flush of heat that kind of rises from your stomach to your forehead, and you sway a little bit. And
you all right?
Oh.
So the air feels thick and stuffy all of a
Just
sudden.
an apple.
The smell of the apple hits your nostrils, and it's much more intense than you ever remember it being.
I gonna try and stumble over to the entrance and probably just collapse.
Okay. The moment you step out the tent and kind of get a breath of fresher air, the feeling starts to fade.
Am I all right then?
Galena, you're stood watching this happen from the middle of the tent, and you're just like, was it something I said? like, yeah, you've just watched Millija suddenly come over, all funny. And
Galena going like...
Yes.
It's like that episode of SpongeBob. It's like, he's ugly.
Yes. So, Galena, you feel fine.
Okay. I guess I'll jog over. You okay there, girl? What are you feeling?
The irony of as you asked if we'd be okay if that was happening to our organs, I felt so sick, like childhood flu sick.
Could be something toxic. My people are pretty good with that. Can I use my alchemical abilities to like make a stone, just a pebble, bright, get some chemicals on it to make it glow? I'm gonna check like Millija's eyes and stuff, and see if there's like any indication of a poison, some sort of magical disruption.
I think,
etc.
Galena, I think it's... I just hold up my hand. I think that's why you're fine.
No. Oh yeah, probably. I hate this thing.
What, Galena, if you're still interested, feel free to roll like a medicine check, I suspect.
Yeah, I still want to make sure she's all right. So I'll give her a quick medicine. 13.
Off the back of a 13, whilst you aren't sure what has caused this, what does alarm you is the rapid onset of it. Like Millija literally went from 100 to 0 in a space of a few seconds.
Exactly when that apple did. So
yes, and like she's broken out into a cold. Well, while she looks like she's broke. The way that Millie is kind of reeling at the moment, you'd almost expect her like, is there a cold sweat? Is there a fever? Blah, blah, blah. But actually, she's fine. She's the same dewy skin in the mornings, Millija, that you've come to know. So physically, she looks fine. Apart from the fact that she's half dead on the ground in front of you, hyperventilating.
Okay, well, it doesn't seem great. It's either me or it's you then, maybe.
I was in the I was in the tent yesterday. It wasn't happening then.
Very strange.
Galena, as you glance over your shoulder back into the room, because you finished setting out your crystals in your matrix, and none of them appear to be glowing any brighter than the others. So it's almost like there's no magical phenomena happening in the tent.
Okay. I'm just gonna grab one of the crystals and kind of just pop it near Millija and see if it reacts at all.
As you hold, what hand are you holding the crystal in?
Oh God. Oh, let's go with the fleshy one. I don't want to disrupt the experiment.
Okay. You hold your crystal over Millija, and it begins to glow brightly, like much brighter. And then as you're looking at it, and you look to Millija, as you look to the crystal and kind of recognize what you're seeing, the crystal stops glowing.
What?
What? Oh, it's something. Millija, I don't want to alarm you, but I don't think it's the tent.
Okay. She's just gonna get up and start walking to the exit.
Maybe have a sit down, pop some clothes on, and we'll see what we can do.
Still walking.
When you say the exit of
New Prosper.
Okay.
Oh. All right, I'm scampering after her. Where are you going, young lady?
So like I said, if it is me, then I'm better off not here.
Right back here this second.
Especially if I'm causing this.
Agate. Millija. Come on back. We'll have a talk about this, okay? We don't want to lose you. It's probably, if it's anything to do with you, we'll figure it out, okay?
Galena and Millija, specifically Millija, has Galena ever said the name Agate to you in the number of weeks since you've been here?
I don't think so.
Tell you what, I'm going to hand DM reins over to Tim for a fleeting moment. Millija, roll me a history check.
Okay.
And then Tim, you can say yes or no based off of Millija's roll.
5.
Okay. Based on my DM powers,
Yes.
we
Has
win.
Galena told?
Millija's fine.
Has Galena
Quickly,
told...
we got to get, because otherwise we're going to get drunk on DM power.
Good question.
So has
I would say
Galena
based.
told it, and then obviously we'll judge Millija's reaction based on her 5. A history check of 5.
I would say that I have probably mentioned it in passing, or at least I've given you probably like a very Cliff Notes version of the story, so I wouldn't necessarily have mentioned a name or anything like that. Just I wouldn't want to talk about it more than necessary, really. I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So given the 5, Probably, maybe you just didn't notice.
Okay.
I mean, with my current mental state.
So, in which case, Galena, it's just you that catches that name slipping out. And Millija kind of looks at you a bit. There's a moment of confusion, presumably as Millija, you wonder why you were called
Rock.
Why you were just randomly called a rock. But yeah. Sorry.
I'm just going to drink a great deal from my flask for a minute. We need to have a talk. Come on.
At least away from everyone else, then.
All right. We'll go to the woods. We'll have a sit down.
Okay. Going back to the other three, Addy, Victor, and Comstock. Comstock, you've just been handed the reins by Davin. What do you do?
Comstock looks at the town people, and he sort of... This, as mentioned, is our home. And there has been a credible threat against our home. It has been... Someone told me I should leave, abandon you all. For this place does not have long. We've been against it. Our food rots in our very homes. And now someone wants to take this place from us. I will not stand for that. You are my friends. You are my family. This is my home. We will fight for it. We will bleed for it. But we will make it stand the test of time, and we will make it something it's meant to be. Whatever this curse that sits upon us, we will remove. But I require all of you to do your part. We will fight for New Prosper. And if you do not know how to fight, I will help you learn. The name Sir is thrown around a lot. But I am not a knight, really. I'm a knight on paper. That's it. By the world spirits, I will be a knight in your hearts, in your minds. We will make this town great. As Draven said, this is the first settlement since the Eschaton. By the world spirits, it will be the greatest. I know what I've said may worry you, but I promise you I'd sooner die than let anything happen to any of you. There may be some rumors flying around about Haladradis. You may have known her. Whatever you may know about her. Save speculation. Whatever reason she had to do the things she did may have been noble in intent. We will leave it at that. Our argument was public, I'm aware of that. But innocent until proven guilty. Do we understand?
There's a pensive pause, and then like a murmurs of confirmation start kind of bouncing around as everyone's because the argument was a very public display.
Yeah, it was.
Comstock for Vice President!
Addy and Victor, sort of like as you see, Comstock looking from left to right, gauging the view of the crowd. The two of you notice some movement to your left, alongside the sort of hiding around the corner of the supply kind of barn, and you see like a small young face in like a greenish hood and kind of cape, just sort of seeing you with this sort of like white white paint across his cheeks, and Victor, you recognise it as Garim, the young Wolfkin boy, and he sort of ducks away when he notices you notice him.
I'll try and catch him.
Okay, so Victor, if are you outright bolting, or are you just kind of slowly shuffling off to?
No, Victor will bolt. During the end of Comstock's speech, Victor was just firing shots in the air. And he'll try and chase. He probably thinks it's one of those fish people, so he's gonna go try and catch one.
Okay, and Addy?
I imagine the town is just at this point so like, Grandpa Victor's at it again.
What's Addy doing?
I'm gonna bolt, but after Victor rather than Garrett. Victor, wait, just wait.
A fish person, quick!
Okay, so the two of you bolt, and like quick enough that Garim is like shocked by this barreling Lorovar like charging at him, and you see a couple of like you knock one of the goblin twins on his ass as you go charging past him.
Knock.
As I go charging past after Victor, I'm going to.
You knock over the other goblin.
No. I was gonna say I pick him up and put him back on his feet as I go past.
You bopped Buck.
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And like Garim sort of like seeing you charge, like takes a step back, trips on a rock that was just behind him, and as he kind of lands on his ass, the two of you kind of arrive, and Victor, you're met with this intense form of disappointment as you realise it is not a Croak, but in fact a young Wolfkin boy.
Hello, little fish. What are you doing here?
Garim looks to you, and there's so many of you here.
Yes.
I was sent here to speak to you. I've been asked by Kagekna to summon you and your companions back to Eka Bhozdir. There's been a bit of a development, they say. There's been a bit of a development. A development,
Yes.
Development.
Is everything all right, Garrett?
Development, yes.
Kagekna, Elmin, are they all okay?
Yeah, Addy, he's asked for you to come back. He's fallen ill.
Elmin?
Yes,
He's fallen ill.
Whatever's affected the village has caught up with him, and he's asked for you to come right away.
I've got to go. Victor, I've got to go. I've got to go back to Bosnia. I've got to go now.
And as you're kind of crowding around him, you can hear Knock and Bock like mumbling off in the distance, but then another voice kind of rings out, and who is that? And you turn to see Frinka sort of like poking her head round the animal stables, like looking at you, interrogating this small Wolfkin boy. Is that? Hello? She says as she strides forward. And Frinka looks at the two of you in a suspicious manner.
Garin, this is Frinka. Frinka, this is Garin. Garin is from a nearby settlement.
Are you from Eka Bhozdir? And Garin sort of like looks shocked at the sudden excitement on this Wolfkin woman's face, and he... Yes? He squeaks out, and... Oh, by the goodness! And she turns around and starts like smacking you on the shoulder, Addy. He's from Eka Bhozdir. Why are you here? What have you come to say? Have you come to offer us a bone of peace? And she's sort of like, she's now squatting in front of Garim, and I've been meaning to come and visit you all this time. It sounds really, really fun. Exactly what it is that you've got going on. You have to tell me everything that's happening. And then she stops and looks at you, and why have you not told me that he was here?
We've only just... He's only just got here, Frinka. Garim, you were saying you need us to go back to Eka Bosnia.
You need us to go to Eka Bhozdir? She says as she sort of like wheels back round on Garim, and he kind of squeaks at the forthrightness of this woman.
Okay. How soon do you need us there? We're wrapping up something here at the moment.
Well, obviously we've got to go right away, haven't we, Addy?
Oh, okay, all right.
What did you find,
Garin?
Garin sort of like shrugs and I don't know. They just said something about but he sort of like pauses and the keeper the keeper man he told me to say to you, he says, pointing at it, something about
Corololo?
yes, Corololo.
Cholera.
Oh,
Terrible disease.
okay.
Yes.
Yes, he said something has happened to cholera.
Okay.
It's the disease that's gone through the town. Terrible, terrible.
You know what
I wonder if we
that's
should go or
affecting
not.
our town?
Say that again.
Victor, I need to go. I need to go to Eka Bosnia. Frinka, you come with me. Victor, let the others know I'm going. They can catch up.
But
Wait, I will escort.
Kagekna's asked for all of you to come. I think, well, I don't know, but I've never seen her look worried before.
Okay. Come, let's get the others. We'll go.
Okay, we'll speak to the others, but I don't know if they'll want to. I don't know if we'll be able to all come. With everything that's going on here. Let's speak to them. Let's go gather the others. Can we go round people up?
Yeah, Frinkers stands up and yes, you should. Quick, snap, go.
Do you want to come with us, Garin?
Garin sort of like looks to you and sort of like just seeing all of the gathered crowds, he looks quite intimidated. And then Frinker sort of like swings her arm down and just like grabs this boy on the shoulder and he can stay with me. I will look after him. We have got lots to talk about, boy.
We'll gather Comstock first, and then
okay,
maybe the others.
Sure. In which case, as you kind of head back, so Comstock, you've delivered your speech and kind of everyone's starting to filter away. As you see Victor and Addy kind of rushing back towards you with expectant looks on their faces, Galena, Millija, whereabouts are you? Like, you're somewhere between Haladradis' tent and the main entrance to the Prosper. But what's going on with you? Like, you can see that the meeting's broken up. People are starting to filter back. You can see off in the distance Victor and Addy approaching Comstock with haste.
I think we've probably stopped somewhere right on the outskirts, I'd imagine.
Sure. In the forest, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, as the two of you head up to the forest, and the other three of you, and Victor and Addy, kind of approach Comstock. Let's grab a 10-minute break.
Ooh. Quickly, like, while we're gone, we need to think up the next ridiculous thing we need him to make.
No, you don't.
You've encouraged us now, Dan.
Yeah, that's it. The fact you actually went and did it, you set a bar.
It was a good speech. Very good speech.
And that bar is the delete button. Right, yeah. We'll see you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to New Prosper, the first of many settlements established by the Explorers Society. My name is Davin Dram, and I'm pleased to say that I'm in charge around here. Why, yes, I do sound confident in my own abilities, don't I? I used to be such a timid thing, used to think people made fun of me because I was terrible at public speaking, but ever since I subscribed to the Explorers of Elsewhere, I know that everyone thinks I'm great. And you can be great too. Subscribe down below and we can be great together. Oh, this is marvellous.
Hello. Welcome back. Glad you made it.
We're here.
Yeah, we're back.
We
We were going to say something about the stinger, but we decided against it. It was a good one.
Damn right.
It was a good one. That's all I'm going to say.
We're not doing this again. We know what happened last time.
This
But
is an
when
arms
forced
race
to
you cannot
bear-
afford to win.
When forced the bear teared open its gooch and then
So, we rejoin the explorers. So, Addy, Victor, rushing to alert Comstock of a recent development brought to them by a young Wolfkin scout from the nearby settlement of Eka Bhozdir. But meanwhile, in the forest, like in the wooded areas to the north of New Prosper, we find Galena and Millija.
Yay!
So, as the two of you sort of like make your way between the trees, the feeling of nausea, Millija, has kind of left, and you're feeling kind of right as rain again. You find like a fallen log. It looks like a log that's been cut down by one of the lumbersmiths, lumberjacks, and it looks like a secluded little space. What do you do?
Hey. I'm getting tired. Can we sit down now?
Yeah. Yeah, and he is. I'm feeling a lot better now.
Right. Now,
Just a sec. And Galena sees off the remainder of whatever is in the flask of deeply acrid liquid.
Mm.
And when she turns back to you, you can see that her eyes are kind of starting to fill with tears that have these glittering crystals in them, the same color that her hand has become.
Millija, you're so worried you're going to destroy everything somehow. You won't. And if you do, you have to keep going, okay?
I'm trying so hard, but hope keeps getting torn away from me. It keeps being given back and it keeps getting
Listen,
taken
Millija.
away.
Listen to me. Your hope can't just be for you, okay? I would have stopped a long time ago. It's all my fault, Mel. You, do you know what a Varthakar is?
No.
Probably not many people do. Under the earth, these kind of insecty folk, like a beetle, but doesn't matter. When the war started, the Vorthkar started to pour out of the earth, and we couldn't stop them. You know, we're clever, but we're small. We can't fight. We tried, but too many of us were dying. And they're smart, Millija, the Vorthkar. They're so smart. They had war machines, and drills, weapons that were beyond what we had. And I was a doctor, see? So I had so many people coming back, so many bodies. And sooner or later I realised that I was going to have to start doing something to fight back. Couldn't just keep scrabbling against this death. So I started working. And turns out I'm very, very, very good at poisons, Millija. Very good. And I liked it. Made me feel like I was doing something. I was powerful. And then one day, I managed to create something I'd been working on for an awfully long time. Something that would end this whole thing. End the fight with the Vorthakar. Told me it was too dangerous. No, I didn't listen. Took me flask. Only a little one, mind. It doesn't take much. And I calculated it. I knew it was going to be fine, okay? And small, made my way into the back lines. Tossed this down. And oh, you should see what it does to someone, Millija. It's not pretty. It's designed to turn flesh into the stuff of magic. Just wither and disintegrate away. And God, it worked. But one of their war machines, suppose the crew must have... Maybe they died. Maybe they were just trying to hit back. But it blew up or caught fire, and the smoke was just coming up and up and up, and the heat and the vapor. I didn't think about the vapor. It's all I could do to put on my mask in time before it got back into the town. Like it was waiting for me to come home. We're strong. She's so strong with poison, Millija. But so many of my people are trapped, turned into something. And I just ran. I should have stayed. I wish every day I'd stayed and helped them and fixed this. But I didn't. I ran and I said, oh, I can't hurt the people around me. I've just got to... He'd probably killed me, to be honest, if I did stay, but... That was my fault, okay? And this is not yours. Or if it is, doesn't mean you can't stay here and try and fix it.
Okay.
I know, think whatever you want of me.
I don't think any less of you at all.
You should.
Why?
My own arrogance. I'm basically a war criminal. Probably be strung up if I ever go home. If I ever find home. But I just need to get back there with a cure. And then I can die knowing that I've fixed my mistake.
What mistake? You did.
Oh.
You said.
You'll not convince me.
You said what happened to me wasn't my fault. And I know it wasn't. But what happened wasn't yours either. You did everything you could. Everything. You took everything into account, measured out everything exactly like I've seen you do hundreds of times in that little lab you've got. This isn't your fault either.
You've never seen me do anything reckless.
Yes, of course I have. That's you.
Well, how about then? You and I, we agree that we gotta stop blaming ourselves for 5 minutes, and we gotta fix this mess, okay?
Okay. I'll try.
That's my girl. Come on. Better get back.
God, can we just take a moment to holy fuck? That was awesome.
Oh. Need a cuppa.
Yeah, that was.
I need a line.
The two of you make your way back to New Prosper. In time to see like Addy, Victor and Comstock sort of like moving around, and upon seeing you, you hear sort of like cries of relief. And Frinka, who's accompanying them, sort of looks up and, "Where have you been? We've been looking everywhere for you." She shouts out to you, Galena and Millija. And as you kind of rejoin the others, Addy, you've spoken to Comstock about heading to Eka Bhozdir. Comstock, how did that go? After Addy kind of explained everything to you that Garen had told her.
I imagine he accepted it as something he needs to do, and he let Draven know that he'd be leaving, and put his second in command, David, in charge of security during this time. He trusts David. David has proven now. He's grown up. It's proven.
Okay.
But yeah, there was very little needed to convince him.
Okay. In which case, upon seeing you, upon joining them, Galena and Millija, Frinka kind of turns to you and, "So, we're going to go to Eka Bhozdir, we're going to see what's happening, I'm going to have a chat with all of the people that are awake, and then we're going to, obviously I'm going to act as like a diplomat or an envoy or something like that, and then we're going to establish some really close bonds with this village, because, I mean, what are the chances that we've just set up shop and it turns out that there's just another village or something?"
Frinka,
yes?
I think Addy should be taking point on this one. She already has the close relationship with the town.
Okay.
I understand.
I'd love to have you along as an envoy.
Yay! So Frinka says, "Excuse me, let me just grab one of my bowls," she says, and she sort of like darts off and opens a barrel on the nearby storehouse and just reaches in, pulls out a bow and quiver, and then puts the lid back on, and she slings it over your shoulder. Like she kind of flashes a look to you, Victor. She because this isn't the bow that she normally uses, and the way that it's been stashed, you kind of get the impression that she just has multiple bows and arrows scattered throughout the town.
Victor respects this.
Comstock's like, "We'll have to have a chat about this later."
"Well, you're not using it for food, are you?" She
For
says,
now! I can't have you stashing bows and arrows all over the town. It's a security risk.
So the six of you, 6 plus Bear, so the 7 of you begin making your way to.
Comstock does have to sort of pull Millija and Galena aside and ask, like, "Did you find anything?"
Still working on it.
Okay. Let me know when you have figured out what it is, or if you have an answer.
I need to go and get changed.
It was assumed.
She really needs to go and get changed.
It was quite assumed that she would. I wasn't exactly having her run around like this.
I mean,
Scandalous!
That looks like AC-10 for me. That's
AC-15, thank you.
It's quite scandalous. We can see your ankles.
So, okay, Millija, as Millija's getting changed, and then rejoins the group. Yeah, you begin the kind of the some hours journey to Eka Bhozdir. Obviously, it's very kind of early in the morning, and the weather in general seems a lot more calm. It's quite kind of cloudy and overcast. There's a bit of a chill breeze kind of rushing past you, but nothing too offensive in any way, shape, or form. It's just, the day just feels a bit drab. But as you begin making your way to it, are there any quick conversations amongst you as you head to Eka Bhozdir?
I don't think Comstock's getting the lowdown because he hasn't been there yet, so probably getting the lowdown from Addy.
Okay. So as you one of the conversations as you're heading along is punctuated with Frinka going, "A centaur!" She kind of squeaks as you're explaining some of the people within the village. But Comstock, as you head over, like you head up the slopes, you're fundamentally kind of you can see the sea off to the west. Off to the south. So you're right as you're heading eastwards. And the land is kind of sloping down until it becomes this sort of like swampy wetlands of sorts. And soon enough, you see this kind of large log-walled settlement kind of dominating the area. And unlike when you look at this place, unlike somewhere like Hugelstadt, which I suspect would have also had some sort of like, defensive palisade
it was like a big walled city. So whereas it was a very kind of stoic looking place, just kind of sat in amongst obviously it was on top of the hill, kind of sat in amongst the nature, like the world around it. This village that to be called Eka Bhozdir seems very much like it's dominating the landscape. It's almost like a statement piece, punctuated even more so when you approach and see a lowered drawbridge over what appears to be like a moat, a dry moat of sharpened stakes. The log palisades, at their base there are a number of sharpened logs pointing outwards. So from your military experience, that to go to wade through this kind of moat that seems to run around the whole settlement, to then climb over the palisade would be a challenge for sure. Like a lot of fighting force would be lost trying to attack the village in that way. And it's just a very aggressive sight to see. But from what you know of Wolfkin, perhaps that's the image, that's the foot forward that they're putting forward. Are they trying to keep something out or something in?
Anyone?
Well, the placement of the spikes, it would be more difficult to keep something out.
I'm being facetious,
Oh.
Millija. But thank you for you bring me.
Okay. So
He pats you on the shoulder to let you know there's no hard feelings.
So as you kind of enter, like begin to cross the bridge, and you're kind of waved in by the two Wolfkin guards. Comstock, you glance across the town, the village of the settlement of Eka Bhozdir. You can see that there are irregularly shaped houses, which most of them are seemingly larger than the ones you have in New Prosper, which insinuates that there's and sort of like the piles of logs and whatnot kind of building supplies insinuate that clearly this place has been here for a while. What catches your eye, and Victor presumably smirks as he notices this catch your eye, is the large pile of skulls, kind of in the middle of what appears to be like a seated area.
Victor tells Comstock, these are the remnants of the previous village that tried to come near their camp. But don't worry, we sorted it out.
Right. That
Stay.
raises more questions than it answers. Thank you, Victor.
No worries. It helped.
Comstock,
Sorry,
what do you reckon the chances are of that being true, given that it's coming from Victor? Just to
I think you know the answer. I think you know the answer to that, Galena. I mean, if what he was saying earlier was true, he tried to parlay with fish people.
That really happened.
Oh, I don't doubt
Victor,
that it
all
didn't
right.
happen, Victor.
Don't you? Really?
We negotiated a peace agreement, I told you.
No, that bit I question. I don't question the fact you went to speak to them. I just question the fact there is now a peace agreement. That is where I draw a line.
We just need to get it in writing. Don't worry, it'll come soon. Negotiations are underway.
And you lead those negotiations, my friend.
Of course, I'm your top diplomat.
As you're kind of discussing this, and you're getting a couple of looks from the Wolfkin villagers that are kind of scattered around, Comstock, you hear the rhythmic clip-clop of hooves on the kind of impact, like the firm dirt floor underneath, under your feet. And from around the corner, slowly walks. No, with some urgency, walks what appears to be a half horse, half woman. Upon her head is a kind of relatively large helm with big horns like mounted on the sides, and there's a moment where, looking at her, you ponder what size of beast these things originally came from. Maybe perhaps a massive boar or a bull of some sort. But you're like, it's almost like your brain's trying to comprehend, the wolfkin woman on top and the horse on bottom. In her hand, she clutches a wicked-looking spear. A spear come lance.
What is the name of this person?
I know this Kagekna.
Kagekna.
Hey.
Okay.
And Comstock raised his hand in salute. Like, Kekna, was it?
Kagekna.
Lady Kagekna.
The centaur kind of stops as she she kind of studies you for a moment, and you have the sense of a warrior about you, stranger. I assume, she says, and she looks at the others, he's with you.
I'm Sir Carmichael Comstock. I'm one of the explorers.
Kagekna nods and, pleased to meet you, Sir Carmichael Comstock.
Sir Comstock will do, or just
Sir
Carmichael.
Comstock.
He bows in respect.
Okay. She looks like, you notice an eyebrow raise as you bow to her, and you just hear Frinka's behind you, and she just kind of like elbows you in the back and don't do that, please don't do that. Kagekna looks to you, Addy, and I'm thankful that Garim has completed his task. Please, he's this way. And as Kagekna begins leading you through the village, so as she's walking away, she kind of turns her head slightly in your direction, Galena. I am told that you are some sort of witch doctor who you brew chemicals and supplies, that you might have an answer to what is happening.
Oh yeah, sure.
In which case, she nods and, good. Well, I hope you have discovered a cure for our ailments, she says. And As Kagekna begins moving up, and Bear just kind of glomps off after her. Feel free to follow suit.
That's Horse the bear, not Bear the horse. Dan.
What a blooper, eh? And as Kagekna kind of leads you further through the town, you can see the one thing you do notice is that there seems to be even less people out and about than there were the last time you were here, like a few days ago, which is a bit worrying. And you hear kind of Frinka, so Frinka kind of runs up alongside you, Victor, and she says, "Where is everybody?"
They have some sort of disease going about the camp.
They've got a disease? Oh, and she's just sort of like covers her nose and mouth. Just to...
Don't worry about it. I take garlic twice a day. Gets rid of it completely.
And she's just all in on this. Okay.
Victor the homeopath.
So as
these special rocks as well.
I hooked them on strings. So as Kagekna's kind of leading you down this path alongside a building, you see that immediately to your right is what appears to be a blood-stained pit lined with a number of stakes, and you can see to take one look at it, Comstock, you just kind of frown at this very brutish looking combat pit. And the fact that there are as many bloodstains as there are, you can't suspect that it's particularly good for the well-being of those in it. But as you're kind of looking at the brutality of it all, you hear a soft little from Frinka as she's kind of behind you, and you notice her looking at the blood pit, and she's got this wistful look in her eyes as if she's remembering fond memories from her childhood.
A rite of passage, I assume?
No, Saturday weekend entertainment.
I see. We were more into drinking and gambling at Hugelstadt, but to each is their own.
And look how you lot turned out, she said.
Yeah, there ended up being a lot of fighting. I'll admit that.
Maybe it's better to do the fighting first and then the drinking.
You'll be surprised. It depends on how the fight goes.
As you arrive at this one particular hut, and you see stood outside the pale-skinned warrior that everyone else knows to be called Megrakan. And he sort of he looks you up and down, like there's a slight sneer on his face until he sees you, Comstock. And then his brow furrows, he looks a bit confused, and as he scans you, and then you notice that this pale man, and he's a tall, lanky kind of beast of a man, he just sort of straightens up and lifts his chin up, and you notice there's a look of kind of respect on his face as he kind of regards you. Comstock, you notice that there's a shield on this warrior's back, and a hand weapon at his side, like a heavy kind of war pick looking thing. And it seems like he's studying you with your sheathed sword and your shield on your back and your shoulder plate, and you realize, apart from the fact that you're wearing metal and this guy's wearing kind of furs and hides, he just seems to, he gives you a slow approving nod.
Comstock returns the warrior's nod.
Kagekna kind of stands to the side, and he's in there, she says. And as you peer in, you see that inside, lying in a bed in the corner, is Elmin, being watched over by a lady Wolfkin villager and Dume.
I've not had the pleasure of Dume.
Yeah, Dume.
And as you walk, as the door opens and you step in, you see
I was worried he was going to be sick.
The old Wolfkin man's head turns as if he's kind of lifting an ear up to hear what's happening, and No, they have returned. Our friends and neighbors. Come in. Don't get too close, though. No.
I'm gonna get as close as I can to the bed, without disturbing the two that are there already, and turn to Dume and the Wolfkin woman. How long has he been like this?
The Wolfkin woman looks to you and kind of frowns for a second, and like she just starts speaking in a language that you don't understand, and like Frinka notices, and like because she's poked her head in, and she kind of gasps at the sight of Elmin. And as this woman starts talking, this really kind of strong, strong accented foreign language, Frinka and like starts talking to her as well, and kind of leads the woman out, and you hear the two of them kind of chattering like a pair of mothers in a coffee shop kind of thing. Just like they just start rabbiting and like you see their hands like flying around and being really articulated. But as she goes, Dume's just been nodding, and he turns to look in your direction, Addy, and it was very sudden. In fact, he was absolutely he was as body as a pig before slaughter, and then suddenly he's like this. And Addy, as you kind of get closer, you can see that Elmin's eyes are kind of half open, and what would normally be kind of limeish green eyes that glow ever so slightly, similar to yours being orange, they're all but grey, and his skin colour has faded. He just looks monochromatic. His hair looks limp and weak and kind of oily. His skin sags on his cheekbones a bit more than normal. But yeah, Dume has been nodding, but then he starts shaking his head and mumbling to himself instead.
I get closer and kneel down, and in our own language, I ask, Elmin, are you there? Can you hear me?
As you say that, you hear like Elmin's eyelids flutter ever so slightly, and it's like he starts to turn his head, and you hear him try to say something, and the old Wolfkin shocks you when he turns to look at you directly, look in your direction directly, and no, maybe he can hear you.
Can I cast Detect Poison Disease on Elmin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Once I find it. There it is.
Your poison radar now starts.
Dan, remind us, has this village been suffering the same problem that we had with the rotting food? Or was it something else?
So this was everyone seems very black and white, and Millija cast healing into one of them, and it just went through them like a bucket filled with holes.
Okay, so it's not the same problem.
Yeah.
And some of them get shot.
Some of them appear to attacked by some sort of demon that can punch holes through them at range. Yes. So you cast Detect Poison and Disease. You within 30 feet of you. Okay. So you do notice, like you sense some poison kind of behind you on the periphery of your detection. But the way that it seems moving about, there's a part of you that thinks, presumably there's like a crate or a cage of something, some poisonous sort of creature, maybe snakes or something, and you think, oh, okay, Wolfkin. But more importantly, you don't sense anything poisonous or disease-ridden in this room.
Okay. Do you know, Dume, where was the last place that Elmin was before he came here, before he fell ill? Do you know where he was last?
He was doing tasks around the village, and he was absolutely fine. The big, strong, strapping boy that he is. But then he said he was feeling a bit funny, and then just collapsed. Gegna said she watched him drain of life almost immediately, just there on the spot. It was very, very, very alarming.
And as he says that, you! And he turns round to face you, Galena. Face you, but he's
Hello.
looking slightly off in the wrong direction.
Over here, big guy.
Have you had any bright ideas, little woman?
No. Maybe. So, if Dan, will I have had enough of the serum that I used to stop my crystalline hand progressing? Will I have had any of that left over to bring along?
Sure.
Right. I'd like to pop over to young Garim. All right. Drink up, big guy. I'll just drizzle some into his mouth. Kind of massage his throat to make him swallow.
Sure. Addy, you watch as Galena administers this kind of serum, and like Elmin kind of coughs and splutters. So it's the serum that prevents the spread of crystallization.
Yes.
Okay. Roll me a quick medicine check after the fact.
Ooh. I don't have high hopes for this. Let's have a look. 21.
Respectable.
Okay. So you know from personal experience how quickly this kind of works. Like the spread of the crystallization on your hand is mostly, you believe, down to this kind of serum that you're using, because it was spreading at an alarming rate, and now it's kind of stopped just below the
It sure
wrist.
was.
So you know it works quick, and you know that the results are usually all but instantaneous. That said, you take a step back and you kind of count to 30, and Elmin doesn't seem to be improved in any way, shape, or form. So you feel very confident that whatever's afflicting him, and arguably everyone else here, isn't crystallization related.
Thought it might be related to the those grey crystals in the forest, but maybe not. I'll take my glove off and just, out of curiosity, just give him a little poke with my weird crystal hand and see if anything happens.
Like, as you do, Dume sort of like raises an eyebrow and kind of is looking around as if he's listening or trying to sense something, and then his head turns to your hand that's been degloved now. And he almost looks like, you see a look of like a frown underneath the black cloth over his eyes.
Oh, that's a shiny trinket you have there.
Ah, sure is, buddy. It's unique, I'll tell you.
As you poke Elmin, you notice like nothing per se happens, and as you like, you leave your finger on him on the third poke, and you watch as the color from your finger, from your crystalline finger, begins to dim, and the area that you're poking on Elmin begins to almost kind of light up, and then when you pull your finger away, your finger goes back to the color it was, he goes to the lack of color he was.
Okay.
And it was like you were siphoning it into him, but then it immediately disappeared.
Okay. Alright, I think we're onto something. Well, no fix yet, Dume, but Might be hope for your boy yet.
Comstock.
Yes.
What's going through your mind as you've had a moment to kind of take in the scenes? Is there anything going through your mind?
I imagine Comstock's very curious because he's not been here yet, so probably has a bit of respect for Dume, like watching Dume look at things, even though he really shouldn't. As a man with an eye patch, he sort of respects the fact that probably his senses have been honed. Yeah, I can't imagine there's much he'd do unless anyone sort of like wants to chat with him. But I guess he's just standing nearby, not offensively, but just keeping an eye on things, just in case the fan suddenly gets covered.
Millija, Victor, is there anything that's been catching your eye since you've arrived?
I saw Dume. I was going to step in to help, but I saw Dume and stepped back out again.
Is it like that Simpsons thing? He walks in, just like puts a hat down, walks, sees who she doesn't want to see, grabs a hat.
Yeah,
and
literally,
leaves.
and just stays. I'm staying outside.
Okay, Victor.
Victor may be inquiring with Megrakan if they have checked the water and food sources, if that may be a source of the infection.
Ask him if they've made like a treaty with the food and the water.
Yeah.
So you've asked him the question. So when you asked, have you been checking your food and water supply? And Megrakan has just been looking at you, sort of like all but chewing on like tobacco. Like it's that kind of look, like a cow chewing clod. And then his only responses have been,
Is this village near the sea? No, this is out of character.
It's not particularly. I mean, there are wetlands, so there's like plains between them and the sea.
Okay. Not near the sea.
Yeah. Galena, as you kind of mull on what just happened, like the meaning of that small kind of surge of life that you've just poked into him, Addy, you see colour return to Elmin's eyes. And he lets out a small gasp and then kind of his hand lifts as if he's reaching out for you.
Can I take his hand?
Yeah. So his fingers like wrap around one of your fingers loosely, and you notice that there's no strength in his arms. And
Coraloro's in danger. The demons are coming for Coraloro. You've got to save Coraloro.
Where are they?
And he's sort of like, his head turns to look to you, and his other hand, like the hand holding your finger, goes limp, seemingly as he's transferring his strength to lift his other arm. And he kind of points towards the wall, like in the direction of the wall, just kind of like in this kind of direction. And then he passes out, but his hand stays splayed with his finger pointing. And like he's literally pointing at the wall at the foot of the bed. But then as you look, you notice that he's at, like, there's a window on the area of wall that you're pointing at. And as you peer out the window, all you can see are the palisades, like the wooden log walls that surround Eka Bhozdir. But yeah, he's just slumped back and his eyes have gone grey again.
I crouch down again, and again in keeper language I say, "It's all right. I'll do my best to save them, and then I'll be back for you. It'll all be okay." And then I turn to the others and I ask everyone to come inside. We need to talk. Something very important.
as you begin kind of filtering in, that you watch the other explorers come in, and Dume, and he kind of shuffles over and just sits at the foot of Elmin's bed and like puts his hand on his thighs and sort of like looks expectantly.
Is Millija just backing up into a wall or something? Is that what you're doing there, Lane?
I am. I'm in, but I'm far away from Dume as possible.
Okay. You notice Dume like sniff the air as you enter Millija, but he doesn't regard you anymore. So yeah, Addy, everyone is in.
Okay. I need to ask for your help. Elmin isn't just another keeper. He is in direct contact with the world spirit.
Oh.
By the name of Coroloro, and the world spirit is in danger.
Dume brings a hand to his gasping, fake gasping mouth.
There are demons coming, and with Elmin like this, I think we're the only ones that can help them. I'm going to go help them. I have to. But I ask, would you come with me? Would you help?
There's never
Please?
any question there, Addy. We obviously will help you.
Okay.
But I thought all the world spirits returned to elsewhere.
Not all of them. This is I don't know. I just know we've got to help. It's my duty to help, and I'd really appreciate it if you could help me. We need to go now, though.
I don't mean to speak for all of us, but without question.
Yeah, let's go and save Caroline.
Oh, my sweet Caroline.
I will come. I will help you track this demon.
Okay.
World Spirit Victor, I need you to be very clear on this. World Spirit.
Tracking the demon world spirits, yes.
Close enough.
I'll do, yes. I think that's the best we're going to get, isn't it?
You know, if you look deeply at night, sometimes you can see them.
I've only got a vague direction, so I guess we best head that way. And with that, I start striding out and heading towards the gates, because I'm going to, I guess, head in that direction. First checking around by the window, I think, just before I go striding off into the forest. Is there anything by the window?
So by the window, like all you can see is, because this hut almost immediately backs onto the palisade.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, by the time if you're immediately kind of striding out of the village, like over the drawbridge, as you come round the side of Eka Bhozdir, you realise that you sort of like kind of gauge it in the direction he was pointing, and you realise that there's like a copse of trees, like a glade of trees, in the rough direction that Elmin was pointing. Like some distance away, but yeah.
He did mention a copse of trees, or a glade where the world spirit was residing. So let's get going.
Comstock quickly puts his hand on Victor's shoulder. For me, it's the lightning.
In which case, unless is there anyone wanting to do anything before you head out of Eka Bhozdir?
Victor might put Comstock aside as they start walking out the village.
Sure. Well, in which case, as the two of you wander out, like Addie's already gone, Galena follows, Victor and Comstock follow. Millija, as you start to like try to sneak around.
Oh, I'm not sneaking.
Okay. As you're making a move for the door.
I was gonna let Frinka know where we were going.
Sure. Well, before you get a chance to leave the hut, the bed creaks as Dume stands up and sort of like his head's kind of pivoting slowly, and then he kind of looks up in your direction, and then slowly shakes his head. And then he turns to carry on doing things with, like, administering things to Elmin.
Victor will speak to Comstock.
Yeah. So, yeah, as the two of you are heading out.
Comstock, a quick word.
Of course, Victor. What is it? How can I help?
You are a good man, Comstock. I like you very much.
Thank you.
Your word.
I think the same of you, even though I don't normally say it.
I'm not sure you believe that, but no matter.
I do.
You are a good man, a man of honor, a man people trust. That is worth something.
Thank you.
So, I feel like I must entrust you with certain informations that may be of relevance in our coming mission.
Go on. You have my curiosity.
There is but a small chance that I may be acquainted with this demon you are facing.
World Spirit.
Yes, perhaps. But I don't know if it is related, but you remember I mentioned when we first met that I was chasing a beast?
Yes, you were hunting it, and it's what brought you to us.
That's right. I've been tracking it for over a year. Now, the main thing I know is that this beast is in this region.
Oh, Victor, no, you can't be telling me that this is Coralora is the thing you are hunting.
No. Look, it is not a beast, not a world spirit. It is a man. His name is Yakov Kassar. And it is quite possible that he is behind the occurrences here. I have no proof of this, but call it an intuition.
I believe you. Okay. What do you need of me?
Nothing. Just know that I've been hunting this man for over a year. He is very dangerous and will stop at nothing to get what he wants.
What does he want?
That is a good question. I'm not sure. Just be on the lookout.
I will keep my eye open. If he is indeed responsible for the malady that has befallen this place, you need to tell someone. Addie, even Galena, maybe they can help if they know what he was doing.
I'm somewhat reluctant to share more information, but if you think
I appreciate you telling me.
Valuable, I can tell you who Yakov is.
Please do. Who is he to you? Why have you been hunting him? What? And he tries to see where everyone else is before catching. Why? What is your relation to this man, and why are you hunting him so?
Comstock, this man has wronged me in so many ways. This man deserves to die. That is all I will say.
And Victor walks off.
Constance sort of like thoughtful for a moment, looks to where Victor is walking off. I see. And he sort of like looks to the village and then turns and follows suit. Just like chewing on what has been told to him.
Okay. In which case, as you kind of rush to catch up with like Addy and so Millija, you've spoken to, like, you stopped to speak to Frinka. Frinka just seems kind of enveloped in these conversations with a number of the villagers, and as you tell her, what is it you're telling her? Like, what's the story you're giving her?
I'm just gonna get her attention, like, as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
And something has happened. I do not wish to pull you away. We're going to head off. We'll hopefully be back, but keep an eye out for us, okay?
All right, I will. I need to meet everybody here and ask them what is happening. If there's a sickness, then maybe it's something we can help. Maybe Galena can help. I don't know. Maybe you can help.
Look out for us, okay?
Okay.
She nods and she kind of looks a bit sheepish and then kind of takes a few awkward steps forward and then gives you a big hug. And given that she's a wolfkin, she like in your feet come off the ground a little bit.
I just bury my head in her neck for like a few seconds and go, okay.
And as she drops you and she kind of gives you a funny look and,
okay, well, I'll see you soon, yes?
Well, yes.
Very quickly.
Yeah?
From all that you lot told me of Dume, I'm a little bit disappointed. I didn't get any cryptic messages or...
You can't...
What the hell, man?
Oh, I'm sure they'll be coming. Just like, I think if you expected it won't work, you have to be doing something else, and then he'll be like, "Oh,
So I need to act like
there's a deep mysteriousness in your beard, or something."
Right, more aloof. I got it right.
You know,
okay.
more really aloof.
A watched alchemy jug never boils. Okay, so the group of you begin heading in the direction that Addy's pointing, that Addy's been pointed out. And you notice that there's no clear kind of distinct path at first towards this, what you can see, this kind of small forest glade kind of off in the distance. And of note, it seems like, the leaves, the foliage of it looks a lot kind of brighter than normal. Although you do notice that there appears to be like heavy dark clouds kind of over that particular forest. It almost, like, it's unusual because the clouds themselves don't really seem to be moving all that far. And so, like, as you're rushing along, Addy, you at the front, kind of leading everyone just to kind of make sure everyone gets there at some pace. You see what appears to be a path leading down slightly towards what appears to be a relatively calm but wide river. And this path leads to what appears to be a ford that crosses the river. And as the group of you kind of get to the ford, and Addy, you stop to make sure that everyone's okay, you notice that on the other side of on the other bank, is a purple scaled dragon sin.
Damn it! God!
Wearing black and red finery.
Oh no.
Ah, what a dickhead.
As you approach, he looks to you, and you see him take a deep breath and slowly exhale.
I was worried that this would happen.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to ask you to go no further, Sir Comstock. From our times together, I have nothing but the utmost respect for you all. I would not wish to sour our friendships. But I will ask you to stop what you're doing. Go no further. This is all I ask.
Not gonna happen.
And why is that a dry idea? What possible cause do you have to stand in opposition to me? Do you even know what you're standing for? How do you even know that you are on the path of righteousness when you have yet to throw the shadow of Haladradis from yourselves? How do you know that your mission is not cursed and tainted?
I don't stand here for Haladradis. I stand here for my kind. I stand here for a friend. And a friend's wish.
These are noble things to stand for, Dryadia. It would seem that we are all here as a consequence of the actions of one Majani wizard. Everything that she has done has brought us to this point of contention. I heard what she said about me. It's a skewed view, to be sure. Do you know what she did during the war? I'm surprised she hasn't told you, Galena.
Don't tell me shit.
Well, we found ourselves on opposing sides. She oversaw the development of a serum, a poison, designed to tear the mana from someone's body. Mage killer, they called it. She sought me out with this mage killer. She tried to strip my very soul from my body. That's what mana is in living beings. It's our souls. And she attempted to tear mine apart, to shred it to pieces in order to win.
I think you did that to yourself when you rode against those cities, when you levered those towns and you killed those villages. It must have burned you to realize when you failed at Jugelstadt. Butcher.
How can you call me the monster when it's Haladradis' strike teams that not only sought to take me down with this poison, but to target my innocent beloved? She didn't tell you about her, did she? She didn't tell you. She didn't tell you I was the only target for her attack. You called me the monster, but what sort of person orders an assassination hit on her own sister? And so, we find ourselves here. I am trying to live a simple, quiet life. All I want is to bring my beloved wife back. I want to piece the threads of her soul back together, a product of her maniacal sister's actions. Because she is the only one I love. So I ask you, with all sincerity, stop. Let me do this, and you will never hear from us again.
What is the cost? What is the cost of what you propose?
Atrak looks around and
it takes a lot of energy, a lot of mana to draw the fragments of someone's soul and piece it back together. But for Mivania, it is worth it.
And as he looks across the river to you, Galena, off the back of your innate kind of arcana, you realize everything's been draining. Eka Bhozdir is being drained of mana.
There
You
is.
look around and everything's being funneled into these crystals. The forest that you were in, and as you look up to Atrak, you realize, and he nods.
The Wolfkin are a nomadic people. They can move on. You are explorers. You can move on. This land that we stand on, if I were to drain it to a husk, who would know except us? And you can simply build your lives elsewhere.
It's very cheap coming from a man like you, telling us to move on, telling these people to move on. Death is a final journey, and it is one that should be respected no matter how it is brought about. Have your vengeance sure. There is no reason to drag someone back from the dead. Wherever they are, they're at peace. What you propose is to rip that peace away from them. For what? Your own selfishness?
Mivania is not at peace. The pain that she's still harboring in her husk of a body is unending. I wish to send that. I wish to save her. Why will you not let me do this? I'm a simple man. I just want to do what's right, and I wish to right the wrongs of Mivania's deranged sister.
Justice will find its way to Haladradis. Justice will find its way to you. You have a chance to redeem yourself by stopping this.
You know, Atrak, you remind me a lot of someone I used to know.
The dragon scent tilts his head.
I'd step back from that precipice now. While you still have the chance. For her sake, for God's sake.
No, Galena. At the edge of the precipice, you have to make a leap of faith.
Your leap's already killing people, Atrak. You're already ripping the lives from the Wolfkin to bring back something that might not even be the Mivania you remember.
And that is the gamble I'm willing to take.
And it is not one others have given their permission for.
Awful easy to gamble with other people's money, Atrak.
Could there not be another way?
I've spent the last year trying to undo what Haladradis has wrought upon me and Mivania. There is no other way. And so we find ourselves at an impasse. I am asking you, as a friend, leave. Walk away. Let me conduct my business as I see fit, and I give you my word that your expedition will come to no harm.
And where you are standing, you seek to drain the energy of the world spirit too?
Atrak looks a bit shocked for a moment. And then his brow furrows.
I see. You also know of Koraloro. What
Yes.
is one small deity?
What is one small wife? What is one small woman? What is one small family member in the face of the rest of the world?
Atrak simply shrugs.
She's everything. I ask you now, explorers, to choose. You can either cross this ford, and all of the relationships we have built will wash away in the waters. Or you can turn back and save Eka Bhozdir from the monstrosities I released before you arrived. Now, here's your choice. Do you save Coroloro, or do you save all of the peoples of Eka Bhozdir?
And as he watches you from across the river, he turns to leave.
Firebolt.
Okay. In which case,
I'm not aiming to hit. I'm aiming to like fly past his head.
Okay. In which case, as you fling the firebolt at you, and the firebolt, he looks over his shoulder and then carries on walking. And you realise, like in the distance, Victor, you can hear the sounds of panic and cries coming from Eka Bhozdir approximately half a mile behind you. And it would seem that Atrak has sent things to attack the village.
We must go back to the village.
Oh, we need to go after him. Like, the world spirit and him, he can do so much damage if left alive. Bhozdir is weakened, yes, I understand this.
He's too powerful.
Brinker is there. Adi, I'm with you.
I must go forward.
Brinker
I'm sorry, Victor. I must go forward.
And you leave the people to their fate. They are weakened, defenseless. They may not survive this.
Okay. Maybe we can split up.
Split the party.
Maybe that's the best way.
Controversial.
Galena, Victor, do you think you could hold the town by yourselves?
No idea.
I'm an old man.
If we lose a world spirit, I fear it's greater than Eka Bhozdir. The cost is greater than Eka Bhozdir.
The town will die anyway if he succeeds.
Adi, a family member might not mean much to you, but they'll mean an awful lot to the people back there.
On that note, we'll call it there.
Where's wait, hold on, where's Millija? What camp she in?
I guess we'll find out
next week.
Disgusting. Oh well.
Oh.
Atrak is a bad boy.
He's a bad dude.
For a second I almost thought he was kind of alright, but he's not alright at all.
No.
Oh, and now they're fucking elsewhere music. Jesus, Dan.
Helodradus. What does she have to do?
Elsewhere. The hunter, Rodden, has had a relatively simple life since the founding of New Prosper. Wandering the forests near the settlement, hunting for game. It's been busy, given the peculiarity of the meat spoiling so quickly, which keeps Rodden busy. On a very standard journey, on a very standard hunt, the Lorivar is whistling to himself as he flicks his thumb over the tip of one of his arrows just to check that it's still as sharp as it needs to be. Then he stumps his foot into something. And he looks down and pulls his foot back. Oh, that's weird. As he looks down on what appears to be a now broken black and white mask. And as he turns to look around the tree, he gasps at what appear to be 3 large shed skins. He shrugs his shoulders and carries on.
What? Ugh.
Oh, rotten.
Motherfucker.
Ooh.
Congratulations, everyone, on completing episode 13.
13. Oh.
Unlucky for some, but
And us.
7 episodes to
Definitely
go, right? Or 6 episodes to go. 6, 7. I don't know. Do the math.
Something like that. Yes, congratulations. Right, so yeah, I'll leave you a week to figure out what your send your answers in on a postcard, and we'll see where we're going from there. So if you like what you saw, make sure to hit the like button. I would argue, comment down below on whether you would cross the river or not. And
Split the party.
yeah, would you split the party or not? Yes, we release content like this very regularly, almost once a week, you could say. So if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release new stuff, because we're doing this, we're doing non-D&D stuff, we're doing a live stream, we just made a new RPG, and that will time how long it takes me to edit these videos. But yeah, make sure to stick around if you like what you're seeing. So, thank you all for playing. Thank you
You're
all
welcome.
for watching and or listening.
Are you name that?
yeah,
See you all
that
next
was
time.
fun.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.